So this is Emma. I promise. She does love me. She just doesn't like being picked up or on camera. So, anyways, you down? Good girl. All right. So you are PCSing to Yokota with a pet. Yeah, I know the process can seem intimidating, and trust me, I totally get it. When we first got our orders, we got told we could only bring one animal, which is not true because you can actually bring two. So I want to go over quickly just some of the things that you'll need to PCS with pets.
Okay, so before we really get going, I want to say as soon as you get your orders, call Sato or whoever does your ticketing office and see if you need to put your pet on your orders. I know the Air Force doesn't require it, but some other branches do. And then as soon as you do have your tickets or, your orders, try to get in contact with the airline, whether it's AMC or a commercial airline, and get your pet on there as soon as possible because they do have limited space for pets in cargo and in cabin. And also make sure that you look on the airline rules because a lot of them do have exceptions for military with orders. We had to do that for our flight here, so just trying to make sure that you can get them on as well.
So I would say to start this process, as soon as you get orders to Yokota, contact your sponsor if you can. Try to get a pet-friendly room at the Kanto Lodge, and if not, or I would even also contact the pet care center, the Yokota Pet Care Center, in case you need boarding there as well. PCSing does take priority, so fingers crossed. All right, so first thing you'll need to get done is to make sure that your pet has a microchip and that it's scannable. So if they're not microchipped, make sure you get that done because you have to have that to get them here. All right, number 2, both dogs and cats have to be vaccinated against rabies twice. So, and they can't get it, there's like a certain window that they have to get it in, but if their rabies is set to expire before they arrive in Japan, they have to get another shot before they can even be considered to be let in. As a side note, Japan does have a rabies vaccine every year. So unlike in the US where you can get it for like a 2 or 3 year, in Japan, it's every single year. So you'll just have to get them regularly like you do the rest of their shots. All right, so number 3 is going to be Rabies Antibody Test, or the FAVN test. So you can get this done at the same time that you get their second rabies shot done, and then they have to send those like blood results to a facility to make sure that the rabies is good in their system, like the antibodies or whatnot. Our vet handled this when we were in Hawaii, and I will say try to use the on-base vet as much as possible. They're very used to handling this process, but other vets can do it as well. All right, next is going to be the 180-day quarantine. So after they have both of their rabies shots and you sent in the FAVN test and you've gotten the positive results, you can start the 180-day quarantine in your own home. So if they haven't done that yet, if you haven't gotten the results back yet, you may have to wait and you may have to quarantine them while you're here. And it happens. Things happen. That's why I try to say to start this as soon as possible. So if you are living on base, you can quarantine them in your own home. However, if you are living off base, they have to be quarantined in a facility, whether it's at the vet or it's at the pet care center or another facility that you find. All right, next is going to be the advanced notification. Please note that this only applies if you are flying commercial. If you're flying using the rotator, you don't have to send this advanced notification. They do have different rules, but I'll put the AMC link down below so that you can see what rules they have. But try to contact them as soon as possible if you know you're going to be flying on the rotator. All right, so if you're flying commercial, you do have to send what's called the advanced notification to either Haneda or Narita. And I'll link down below like a whole thing of what you send to them. And I'll also show it here as an example. So this is going to be a filled out version. And I'll link everything below. But essentially, you send them all of your paperwork, you send them this filled out, and even if there's things that you can't fill out just yet, you can send it to them and then send them an updated version as well. When I sent everything in, they were super understanding. It took a little bit of time because of the time difference, but it's doable. All right, next is going to be clinical inspection. What does this mean? It just means that the vet has to take a look at your animal and just make sure there's no obvious signs of rabies or lepto. All right, next, International Health Certificate. So please keep in mind, the health certificate is only good for 10 days. So try to make sure that you schedule this as close to your PCS date as possible. Now, I say that knowing that it's the military and we're on their time and things change all the time. So try to make that appointment as close to your PCS date as possible, like when you're flying out. So that way you have a higher chance of, if things get shifted one way or another, you're already good to go. Now, again, the on-base vet should have priority for PCSing, so if you need to change that, just let them know as soon as you know, which I know it doesn't always happen, but just do what you can. All right. Last thing is going to be the inspection at arrival. So again, this is just another check, making sure that there's no obvious signs of illness like rabies or lepto and whatnot. And that happens when you actually get here. So I think we arrived in Haneda. When we arrived, Emma was already sitting there in her crate ready to go. Like she was there before our luggage. They took really good care of her. And the animal inspection was just right down, almost in the same hallway as where we picked up our baggage. So, and I'll put links below so that way you can see everything. This can be a very tedious process, and I'm trying to make it simpler for you and breaking it down, but I know it's still a lot. Okay, so now that we've talked all about how to get your pet here, let's talk about how you get on base. Because you can't take pets on the train. Taxis are wicked expensive, but you do you. And there's also a shuttle that runs from the airport to base and vice versa, but you can't take pets on that. So what you'll have to do is either you can have your sponsor come and pick you up if they have a van and they're willing and able, or you can also request a chauffeured van to take you. That is the only vehicle that the base runs that will take animals on. So I don't remember the cost, but again, I'll link it down below. That's through vehicle operations. And again, try to notify them as soon as you can, so that way they can make sure that they have a driver available, or let you know that they don't, and then you can try to figure something else out. All right. Okay, last things to note. I would just make triple copies of everything. Their shot records, their rabies, their health certificate, their FAVN tests, everything. Because if they need it at the inspection, or if the airport guys need it, like whatever, you want to have copies so that if they need a hard copy, they can have it and you have the original. You don't have to worry. You will definitely need extra copies of your orders though for incoming, just to prove that you have SOFA status. So I'll make a whole nother video on what to expect when you're new to Japan/Yokota, but that should be everything for PCSing and with pets. Now, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, no, I'm just kidding. If you have any questions or comments, just comment down below. Let me know what else I can do for you. And if you liked this, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button. And thanks for tuning in to Tiny Manda. I'll see you next time.